Hello and welcome to Dimsy's Domain. Now this discussion video is going to be about Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! The Dark Side of Dimensions, and the question I'm going to pose is, what the hell does AIgami want with Atem's soul, Atem being the Pharaoh? So today I'm joined with another YouTuber who specializes in Yu-Gi-Oh! Please introduce yourself.
Yo, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me, Dimsy. I think this is the first time I'm on your channel, man.
Yes, first time, and his channel is going to be linked down below. Check him out for Yu-Gi-Oh! Check him out for many skits and videos. He's a really great guy. So in terms of the actual question itself, there's many possibilities for AIgami to want the Pharaoh's soul, but I really have no clue, and I do think it's going to be loosely related to the dark side of dimensions, the dimension that it seems like AIgami has the key to, where he can transport souls or people to, as we see from the trailer, where we see kids who are mind controlled, easily mind controlled, because the pupils are dilated and glowy and they have an expressionless face. What do you think about the whole reason for AIgami to want the Pharaoh's soul?
Okay, so he calls Yugi the vessel of the nameless pharaoh, or the vessel of the pharaoh. Yeah. Essentially meaning the body of the pharaoh. That's my interpretation of it. I think he needs Yugi's body for some reason. Maybe to revive Atem. He's essentially like Yugi's incarnation, I would say, or Yami's incarnation from like the future. Like 5,000 and 3,000 years later, he looks like a little boy, just looks exactly like him from Minimize and shit. But I think AIgami needs his soul, or he needs something to run. Like maybe like he needs a Yami soul for activate something.
So pretty much he wants to get Yami's soul to act as the engine or the power source for an ulterior or a bigger motive, for some sort of to operate a machine or something. Do you think he's some sort of like a dimensional hopper?
Yeah, I've said that, dude. I've said that for like the last 7 months. I think he has a dimensional hopper. Yeah. Or I think he's as I said, like he's a god. I think he can essentially control a dimension. He can spawn one. That's what he did when he like made that cube. He's like, welcome to my dimensional domain.
Yeah. The name AIgami does translate to indigo god, so he has some sort of divine characteristics. The thing is, I have this vibe from him that he's going to act as their friend in order to get something. He has no problem deceiving other people to get something. And I said it, and you said also in our trailer breakdowns for Yu-Gi-Oh! Trailer 3, that we think he's going to use Kaiba for another motive. Now, in terms of AIgami, I do think that he wants the Pharaoh's soul for 3 reasons, which I mentioned in my other video, which would be linked down below, as well as BYG AIgami's video. How appropriate. The name does suit the actual subject, but I thought that he wanted the Pharaoh's soul for 3 reasons: to either feed off the soul, because if you're going to have a delectable soul or a soul that gives you energy, surely the nameless Pharaoh, which is a very powerful and rare soul, would give a lot of energy or something like that. Yeah.
What I want to say is, like, even though season 4 Duel Monsters is filler, of course, you know, Darts he was on a 10,000 year journey. He needed the Pharaoh's soul to run the Great Leviathan. Like, just by his soul, he could literally run the Great Leviathan. So Atem's soul is very powerful.
It's very powerful, and that can also tie in with the next point, where it's also very rare. What if the dimension, the dark side of dimensions, is a dimension that AIgami controls, where it's like a interdimensional treasure house where he keeps the rarest souls? And what rarest soul, what trophy is more valuable than the soul of the Pharaoh? So that's why I thought, yeah. And the other thing is, maybe AIgami wants to revive or get the Pharaoh's soul because to finish some other business they may have had in the past. Maybe they met in the afterlife. Maybe they met in ancient Egypt. We can't place exactly where AIgami is from.
I think because that whole dimensional thing has an Aya on it, and he has like all these millennium, like essentially all these millennium things on his like body that look like Egyptian hieroglyphics.
There you have it then. I guess he has some sort of ties to ancient Egypt.
I think he does have some sort of beef with Yami. That's what I've always been saying, because why would he go after Yugi? I mean, the man's literally like, he's just like, after he defeated Atem and he goes to the afterlife, I think Yugi's life is just very sedentary. Like, he just hangs out with his friends. Like, there's really no more problems.
And that's why maybe for the fact that because Kaiba is undergoing an obsession where he needs to revive Atem, AIgami seizes on the opportunity and he isolates the opportunity from Kaiba, and the darkness within Kaiba's heart is re-emerging in terms of the obsession. He wants to rule, he wants to win, and he takes advantage of Kaiba, and that's how he gets Atem for his own sake. And I do want to mention, I do think that Atem is going to come in the last third of the movie. I don't expect him to come from the beginning or even the middle.
Yeah, I think they should save that shit for last, like the last 45 minutes.
So yeah, I guess I'll just summarize in terms of, he may want the Pharaoh's soul to run some sort of dimensional engine, or some sort of engine, a spiritual mystical engine where only the soul of a very powerful individual can run,
like a god tier type.
What if he's actually trying to feed off the souls? That's why he took the souls of the young children. What if the souls are again missing? And I do think that Joey, Tristan, and all the other sidecasts are also amongst the missing souls, and that's how he blackmails Yugi to activate or reawaken the Pharaoh's soul via the Millennium Puzzle. So maybe he's feeding off the souls in that sense, and he wants a more delectable soul. He's like a mystical cannibal. The other one is simply, maybe he just wants to collect the soul of the Pharaoh. Simple as that. What if he actually just wants the Millennium items and he just wants the Millennium items and for another ulterior motive in terms of just extract the power from the puzzle and all the rod and everything, but then that means he's gonna have to deal with Yami Bakura as well.
You know, it's kind of weird, like, I was rewatching Duel Monsters in Japanese, and Pegasus wants all the 7 Millennium items, as well as Bakura says that it can cause mass destruction.
Yeah.
But I think that would get debunked because Agami's a god, the man can control dimensions, he can start one, so it really wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, the Millennium puzzles are literally like nothing compared to
we
him.
don't know exactly
items.
how powerful in terms of pure aggression or brute force his strength lies on. Anyway, I guess we've beaten the horse to death in terms of why AIgami wants the Pharaoh soul or what he wants to do with Yugi. That's been the video for today. Make sure to drop a like, comment, share and subscribe. Check out BYG AIgami's channel, very appropriate. Yu-Gi-Oh news, Yu-Gi-Oh replays, duel replays. Check him out, go check him out, go like and subscribe. Check out his videos. Is there any videos you wanna drop in and make them check out?
Our duel.
Yeah, check out the duel where I battered him.
Yeah, but I battered you more times behind the scenes.
Pure lies. And on that note, you may now exit Dim's domain. Thank you and goodbye.
Alright, see you guys.